This is Let's Talk Football here on the sportshacks.com, and around this time every week, we welcome Daryl Geraghty back to join us in studio. Daryl, of course, one of the top freelance journalists in Dublin covering League of Ireland football, and a man who you will see regularly at your League of Ireland matches on a Friday night. Although, Daryl, I'm sure you too are looking forward to the little mid-season break that's coming upon us.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, catch up some time with the family. Get out coaching the kids again. So
Good
yeah,
man.
lots to do.
That's grassroots football, Daryl. That's what it's all about. Aside from the League of Ireland, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Damien Duff was on television duty on Monday night with Virgin Media for Shamrock Rovers against Bohemians, and he was brilliant. I have to say, I wrote a column about him here in the Sports Sacks, and he was just entertaining. Tim Clancy was a good sidekick, and Tommy Martin kept the show rolling. But Duffer was saying that Dublin Airport on Saturday morning. It's a bit like Busaris on the bank holiday weekend with League of Ireland footballers all heading off from various clubs to various hotspots across the country, across the world, across Europe, etc. He's not too enamored, he said, with it, but it's a necessary evil. These players do need, particularly as the weather's starting to get warmer, they do need a chance to just recharge their batteries.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think especially with the European games going to come up as well. This usually is the busy time of the season, April and May, where they cram a lot of games in preparation. So yeah, look, they've had a busy start to the season, and yeah, it is what it is at this stage. We're just kind of used to it, I'd say, as much as it might annoy the managers, but.
We'll talk about the
Yeah.
game he was commenting on in a few minutes. But first, international wise, Ireland, the show's going to go out on Friday, so Ireland are going to play on Thursday night. Ed McGinty, Conor Brand, and Adam Brennan already in the Ireland squad. Dawson Devoy going to join up after the Bows game down in Sligo on Friday night. It's great for the league that these players are getting recognition. It's great for the league that Jack Moylan is back in the squad because he had been such a stalwart under Damien Duff at Shelbourne. The way, though, that Dawson Devoy played on Monday, Ed McGinty, as Stephen Bradley said, just turned up and he said we had to play him now. I think that was tongue firmly in cheek. Adam Brennan didn't he stayed involved with the international squad, stayed back in Castleknock. Is it doing the league a bit of a disservice? Is there a bit of tokenism going on here, do you think? That's the feedback I'm getting from people.
Yeah, it feels like it. It's kind of like they're taking the league serious and where the players are coming from and just how they're developed with their clubs, where you can just come in and out of camps and it kind of diminishes the whole call up if players can just play when they want as well. So on both sides of the coin, it's tokenism is probably the right word. By all accounts, it's going to be an experienced side playing this week. So whether it's just to fill holes in the squad, or is it just to kind of show them, oh yeah, we've included League of Ireland players, now we can just tick that box. Basically, we don't want that either. So
It is,
yeah, it's be interesting to see the lineup
yeah, it is.
and what the squad is.
It is going to give them. It is going to give them an opportunity. I mean, if Dawson Devoy goes to Canada, it's going to give them a week basically with the squad. So it is going to give them a taste of international football and what it's all about. But I do wonder, come September when the Nations League starts and we're playing against Kosovo, Austria, and quote unquote Israel. We'll wait and see what happens there. But I do wonder how many League of Ireland players will actually make that squad come September, October.
I can't see any, to be honest, because Heimer has this tier of players like we mentioned before, and all those players will be back and had a full pre-season with their clubs. So it's hard to see them making the step up unless somebody does something incredible over the next week or 2 weeks that really catches the eye. Like Jack Mullen scoring a hat trick, for example. Like I know he's not a League of Ireland at the moment, but it'd have to take something at that level to keep them involved. That's just my gut feeling at the moment. But we'll know more after these 2 weeks and how much, if any, playing time they get even now when it's just nothing friendlies really. So,
And of course,
I want to keep an eye on.
yeah, and the other factor in all of this, of course, is Dawson Devoy, for example, may be playing in England by the time September, October comes about. We don't know where those players are going to end up. But certainly, in terms of the talent within the league, the potential is there. And post Brexit, I think we're going to see more and more of this. Pat Bourne, I think I said this again last week, but Pat Bourne was making a very interesting point here that League of Ireland players are fitter, they are playing regular first team football. Adam Brennan is playing men's football. Ed McGinty made one really good save on Monday night. So it's not as it was 20, 30 years ago when League of Ireland players were part time. And I saw a very interesting piece with Tony Sheridan on the Irish Independent the other day on their Legends series, League of Ireland Legends, and he was making the point that in those days they didn't look after themselves properly. Tony Sheridan was one of the best footballers I ever saw, by the way. I'll never
Yeah.
forget he scored a goal up in Sligo that was just out of this world. But it's easier now for players, I think, to make a mark with their fitness levels, with their full-time training, etc. But I don't think, and I'd be interested to hear your theory on this, I don't think they're going to have an international camp in January for League of Ireland players. I just cannot see that happening.
No, it's a bit of a nonsense, really, and that word tokenism
Mm.
again is what it just stunk of tokenism again, in my point of view. But your point there about the fitness, and like they are playing full time, they have to be treated as professionals, just like any other professional, because they're in as much, they're being monitored as much. Everything is there, the advancement in sports science, it's all there. But I still think there's a bit of, it's just the League of Ireland, if you know what I mean. It's that kind of looking down. So if they went to League One and performed the same like Jack Moylan did, he was a late developer, is what they might call them in the international setup. He goes across, having had his men's football, and you see what he's doing now. So I think there's still a bit of Tony League of Ireland. We have to see what they do at that level across the water to be fully involved again in camps. But they're full-time footballers, so should be treated the same, I think.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it does develop over the next 2 weeks. And then,
Yeah.
as I said, come September and October when we're playing against Kosovo and Austria and maybe Israel, but that's a topic we might discuss another day. It'll be interesting to see how that one turns out over the week as well. Getting back to
Yeah.
the league then in action on the pitch, I mean, Shamrock Rovers, I was in Tala on Friday night. I thought they lacked a bit of leadership, they lacked a bit of go, a bit of zip about them. And then on Monday night they go to Dalymount Park. Bohemians had all the chances, didn't score, and Shamrock Rovers stole it. I mean, it was a brilliant ball in from Dylan Moss and a brilliant header from Enda Stevens. And as Damien Duff, my favourite pundit of the moment, said, it did feel like a statement win, didn't it?
It did, yeah, because Bradley has been mentioned the last couple of weeks that his side haven't been reaching their levels. Is one of his favourite lines. It's all about the levels of his side, and they haven't. And Friday summed that up. I think I don't know if it was a complacency, a flatness, but Sligo spoiled the party, and just like they did last year when they got those 3 points in Tala to make sure of safety. They don't seem to have that fear factor going to Tala anymore. But then to turn it around on Monday, I've been critical of Bowes in the final third, as you know, for weeks
Mm.
now. It's just hit and miss and throw enough stuff and hope it sticks, basically. And they just wasted so many chances. But you look then at Rovers bench, sure they can bring on the quality of their 2 goals. Like I think that was Damien said, like no other team in the league can do that. Produce 2 moments like that to win a game, and that's the old saying is that's what champions do.
And Dylan Watts, the quality of ball for the winner from Enda Stevens, with, as I keep hearing, his wrong foot.
Dylan's a smashing player. We've seen that even when he was at Bowes, he was always seemed like a level above, and he's been doing it on both feet. Like he can spray passes all over the pitch with both feet. So the wrong foot saying doesn't, I never liked it. It's just your other foot.
Mm.
If you can stand on it, you can use it. So it was outrageous the way it came back to him. I think it was kind of hobbling, and especially on that Dalymount pitch where it's up and down in parts. It was just outrageous quality.
They tell me he's a very good golfer, and certainly if that was a chip to the green, it would have been right in on top of the pin. There's no doubt about that. So we'll
On the money.
I'll have to check up on that and see how good a golfer he actually is. Uh, the league statement from Rovers, they are playing. They have the local champions about them already. St. Pat's, Shelbourne, Bohemians. You got to feel for Alan Reynolds because his team did everything but score. But clearly, he's not listening to us, Daryl, because I've said here that I would like to see Patrick Hickey start a match up front. Start a match, not finish it. Start it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, in the Rovers games, he does go for energy, and I can understand that against Rovers. The press a possession team. But other games, I'd like to see Hickey as the focal point and then have the players around him, especially if you can't trust Douglas James Taylor to play 90 minutes. Or, there's the likes of Ross Tierney, Colin Whelan, even Harry Vaughan when he came on was busy. You need them around the focal point, and I think they get more chances that way. And obviously you have then that target if you're sitting in a low block, your fullbacks can then support and deliver onto his head, because he's probably one of the best with Pigo maybe in the air in probably the whole league. So one day, I'm
See,
not giving up hope just yet.
I think they've enough strength at the back that they could try it without him, and maybe this week they're going to Sligo. They're going to have to bounce back. There's no doubt about that. They have to bounce back from that result, and I think you saw you might have seen the clip afterwards when when Shamrock Rovers were celebrating, and the camera just got Alan Reynolds with his head in his hands, and I don't think there's a football fan or anybody watching football out there who didn't understand why he had his head in his hands. It was just there was no way back. It was just too late.
No,
Um, St. Pat's,
tough.
Dundalk, Shelbourne. I'm looking here at the table. They're all top five. Uh, Rovers now 37 points, Pats 32, Bows 31, Dundalk 26. So you got to say it's looking like a 3-horse race, but really it's a 1-horse race with two seeing who's going to be second. That's my view of it. Would you agree?
Yeah, it does. It does have that feeling about it, all right. That the Chase and Pack don't have that consistency to put winning runs together, whereas we know Rovers can do that at any time. And that's the thing. We're kind of waiting for them to really kick into gear and take maybe a couple of chances when Rovers do slip up. That like the Pats draws are killing them. They could be well in the mix if they converted some more chances and got over the line. And yeah, it's just kind of hoping that it's just kind of leaning towards a Rovers mistake or a bad month. But then you have to trust the chasing pack to take advantage of that, and they haven't so far. And that's what's losing. That's what's killing my hope anyway.
The Dublin derbies just keep coming in. I mean, on Friday night now we have Shamrock Rovers at home to St. Pat's. This is a bigger game for Pats than it is for Rovers.
Yeah, definitely. And like I was just mentioning there about Pats, we're kind of waiting for them to make that statement. That have that statement win. There's no better opportunity, I guess, than going to Tala. But obviously, Rovers will be bouncing into that game now after Monday. They'll be walking on air. So it's an ideal opportunity. If I think Pats do have players that can hurt Rovers on the break as well. So it's going to be a really interesting game. But we're kind of hoping Pats do make that statement and kind of show that they're actually in this for the long run.
I'm looking at the fixtures. Drogheda against Waterford. Waterford, little bit of a resurgence, but if they're going to have any chance, they got to go to Drogheda. Drogheda, we talk about this every week. Kevin, he gets annoyed, he gets upset, he gets annoyed, he gets upset. He's not getting a whole lot of joy out of the game this season, is he?
No, not so far. Not so far. And this is a great opportunity for him to put that gap between himself and Waterford again. But like you said, Waterford have been improving the last couple of weeks, so it won't be as easy as maybe they would have thought a few weeks ago. But yeah, if you you'll go into the break a happier man now if he puts that gap back between them. But it could be if results go their way, will be Sligo or Waterford will be 6 points behind Sligo with a win. So that will really pull the two of them back down. So depending on your point of view or your support, you want to keep an interest in title race and a relegation battle. So definitely, that's probably the bigger game for me this Friday.
I do like the way John Russell goes about his business at Sligo. He's very understated. He can get animated when he needs to, but he's quietly efficient, and he's been singing the praises of Will Fitzgerald, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Will's been on a different level this season, I think. He just seems to own the left side. He said Will's been one of the best players in the league this season, and it's hard to disagree with that because he's just been sensational at both ends of the pitch. He's tackled out in Tala last Friday to actually, it was a game-saving tackle that turned into a game-winning tackle then. So it's just at both ends, he just has that quality on his left to hurt teams. So yeah, like he's just out of this world at the moment, and that's what's going to keep them up. I think they do play lovely football, and I think his style of football does eventually tell, and they do put that win and run together every season to pull themselves away, and can't see it exactly happening again this season.
Has it been confirmed that Kevin Zeffy is signing for them?
Waiting for the official statement, but he's
It looks like
more or less
it. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, he's been there and he's impressed so far.
This is
But what a talent!
a kid who I think, if his head is right and if he gets himself fit, this kid could do things in the League of Ireland and he could relaunch his career. But I'm not joking with you. That's how serious this is for Kevin Zeffy. This is a crossroads. And
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen what the underage, just how talented he is. Like he could be actually whatever he wanted.
you've seen him play underage, haven't you?
Yeah, a lot. And he's just sensational when he's on it. Like you said, if the head's on it, then he's unplayable. But you're kind of hoping that gap now he's had in his career is early, still young enough, but that gap might have woken him up to say, look, the career can change overnight, and no one's really been banging down his door. You're kind of thinking that will spark some life into him and get him focused to rejuvenate what talent he has.
Look, I hope he does. I hope he proves to himself, because look, he doesn't have to prove it to anybody else. He has to prove to himself first of all that this is what he actually wants and this is what he can do. We all know what he can do, but I think he needs to show us that he knows himself just how much an opportunity. Tiernan Lynch and Derry, this isn't getting any better, is it? It had a little bit of a pickup. The pitch is not helping them. I don't care what anybody says. The pitch is not helping.
No,
It's not helping anybody.
no, the complaints every week about the pitch are well justified, and it's a bad look for the league, really. We're trying to bring the league on in every aspect, and then you see what they're playing on, and it's just bog ball. People have been texting me like all sorts of stuff, and yeah, and he wasn't on a sure footing with the natives up there anyway. But the results now going back to the way they were, just it's getting toxic again, and we're back to the same conversation. If they have someone lined up, a 2 week break coming up, will they pull the trigger? They might have to pay him off. He's not gonna he's not gonna walk out himself. So this could be the ideal opportunity if it goes wrong Friday. I think then.
And Shelburne 0-0 in Derry. I mean, that you probably, they've been so good in the road this year, we probably expected more than that from them even. But we mentioned him earlier, Damien Duff. Where could he end up? He could end up at Derry City if the job is
Yeah,
vacant. The job is not vacant at the moment.
it's not. We're just assuming that it will be soon, just based on the way the season's been going. And Derry will be ridiculous not to even try ring Damien Duff. Even have the conversation, put the feelers out, because you know what, he's a transformational character, and it seems like that's what Derry City need. They need some character like that to bring them all together again. They do like their managers to be in and around the city, which I'm not sure if Damien would like to travel up or stay up, but the club, for the layout they have financially, they need something big to bring them together, because it's getting toxic again, like I said.
And the other thing for Damien, and I'm giving them all lectures tonight, Darryl. I'm living up to my age for once, but I think, we've seen with various pundits in England that once they get comfortable in a TV studio, former managers, once they get comfortable in there, look at Tim Sherwood, he's now a pundit. Roy Keane, dare I say, is probably now a pundit. Once they get comfortable in studio and they get used to it, and it's very difficult sometimes now. I'm not saying for a second that Damien Duff won't swap TV3 or Virgin Media as it is now for a job in England or a job in Ireland or a job in Scotland or wherever it may be. But you do need to get back out there and you do need to get back on the horse.
Yeah, definitely. The game changes so quick. And especially if he's looking at League of Ireland job, the teams and squads change so quick every window, because they're not on as many multi-year contracts as they are now. But yeah, like if he's getting so much good feedback and praise that he's doing such a good job in the studio and he's getting a few quid on the side, and he might just get too comfortable. But he doesn't seem like that type of character, and the way he's talking, the passion, the hunger seems to still be there. So I'd say sooner rather than later
I,
or maybe over the summer that
I did find
you might see him in the dugout.
I did find it interesting. He was talking about Bohemians. That he said when he looked at it, this could be their last chance, their best chance for a long time because it's their last season at Daleyman before it gets redeveloped. And he was saying, you don't see teams
Yeah,
going away and winning the league elsewhere. But somebody on Twitter, there's always somebody on Twitter, pointed out the Shamrock Rovers won the league under Ray Tracy all those years ago when they played at the RDS. And again, you're too young for this, but I remember the great story. I think it was Cork City played Rovers in the first game. And one of the great stories was that all the players had to get tetanus injections because the horse show had been taking place at the RDS, and the doctors were worried that there would be a possibility of whatever it is they give you a tetanus. I presume it's tetanus. I don't know. Whatever it is, you get a tetanus injection for. So all the Cork City players and the Rovers players had to get tetanus injections. But we wait and see. But as I said, there's always somebody on Twitter to put you right if you're there. Did we have a conversation last week? Remind me about 3-score draws or 3 scoreless draws. Did you have? Did
yeah,
you
I
did you
did.
have
I
a
did.
treble of bets that were all going to be draws?
I did. I did. I just got that feeling as I was tomorrow. I was looking into the games, and I wasn't far off. We getting to the end. There was 3 draws in the balance before Sean Boyd ruined it.
Yeah,
Weren't the same 3 draws I said, but I was waiting to press the button and
it's
let you know that I got my
a,
3 draws in the end.
yeah.
But
Unfortunately, I don't think any of the well-known bookies who operate in Ireland, and even the ones that operate on your local main street, they don't pay out on nearly draws, Daryl. They you think you have to get the
oh,
result right. But it was a good effort to be fair to you. Um, Dundalk then against Derry, big game for the Derry manager.
yeah, I think this is make or break for him. Um, it's like they always talk about in England, isn't it? When the October, November
Mm.
international window comes around, whichever manager's under pressure, this is when they like to make a change because there's still enough time in the season to rescue the situation and still half a season to go. Still everything to play for really in the league because no team is putting together that win 3, 4, 5 game winning run that we mentioned before. So it could be tempting if it doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
That I think it might be time, but we'll see because I don't think it'll be cheap. So
James McLean is back.
well, yeah, if we'll see how fit he is and how long he lasts and his
And he's
influence.
getting a bit of stick on social
But
media as well, but social media never pay too much attention to the stick you get on social media. It's never really worth it. Finally, Shelburne are home to Galway United. Galway, tough to beat, but Shells, again, the green shoots are there, aren't they?
yeah, this will be my game this Friday, thankfully, and yeah, I think we might see a bit more of a freer Shells this week, having that monkey off their back, getting the home win. Ali Coote was good. More creative, probably a bit more creative than Karen McInroy, who we're still waiting to see how long that injury is for. Sounds like a nasty one. There's talks of a season being over. We're waiting to hear back from the specialist. Was the last we heard from the club. So that's one to keep an eye on. But they do have a couple of players back as well. Shells, and Meepo came on, and Bang is back, a right back. So yeah, I think you might see a bit more of a creative Shells if Ali Coote's fit enough to play. Um, but the only thing is the set pieces that we mentioned seem to be every week with Shelbourne. They give up so many chances through set pieces, and Galway will be relishing that this Friday. So I think they might have enough just to get past Galway, but
Well,
Galway has some players in form.
you can bet that John Caulfield has done his homework and has done his video analysis,
Oh,
and will have his players fully aware of that. Um, I'm
absolutely.
not going to be in Dublin Airport on Saturday morning. I doubt you're going to be in Dublin Airport, Darrell. Are you on Saturday morning?
No, we'll be at the Kids
There
Academy
you
bright
go.
and
There
early.
you go. Well, look,
So,
we will wish all the League of Ireland players a bon voyage as they head off on their summer holidays for a week, and we will wish
and hopefully they don't need any tetanus as well
when
to
they
get
come
back.
back, and we will wish the League of Ireland players on international duty this week and next week the very best of luck with that as well. And it would be great if one of them could burst out of the traps and be still there come the autumn of those games in the Nations League. But Daryl, they may be off next week, but I think we will still be talking League of Ireland football here in the Sports Hacks next week, and we might do a
We will.
mid-season review, uh, and
Perfect.
maybe you look into that Mystic Meg crystal ball again and come up with some score or draw predictions that might worry the aforementioned bookmakers. In England, they call them the high street brands, but we don't have high streets. Thankfully, we have main streets most of the places I know. But anyway, we will stop rabbiting on now. Enjoy Falca Park on Friday night. It is going to be another interesting weekend. I think every weekend this season has been interesting in some way or other. And Daryl Geraghty, we'll see you next week.
Can't wait. Look forward to it. Thanks very much.